Hey, welcome to Student of the Gun Radio. Do I sound excited? I should be excited because this is episode number 200. Did you think we'd ever make it to 200, Jared?
I didn't know what was going to happen when we started this.
We didn't know what was going on.
And I'm going to go ahead and silence my phone right now.
That would be a great
You guys
idea.
that heard that pop earlier.
Boop. Yes, episode number 200 is July 1st, episode 200. We've been at this for a couple of years now. That's right, Jared. A couple of years now?
Yeah, two, I think.
Two? It's more than that. Actually, we had our second anniversary in March. So we're 2.5 years into it, and it took us 2.5 years to make it to episode 200. So, yay us. And yay you for being a part of it. Congratulations. And what we've got for you today, we got a couple of cool things, and we don't have any super cool celebrities. Now, tomorrow, or not tomorrow, well, this week, we will be, well, I guess it's tomorrow, we're going to be recording our interview with Colonel Dave Grossman, and that's going to be for a future episode. We're going to pre-record that, we're going to put it in the can, and then we will make it available to you.
Yep, and there's going to be some for you guys, and then some for the grad program.
That's right, some for you, some for everyone,
I think
and
we'll
some
keep
for just
all
the
the,
grad
like,
program.
the super deep, thoughtful
the
stuff.
deep thought stuff, yeah.
For the grad program, since they're dedicated.
Truly dedicated,
you,
highly motivated.
Yeah, if you are part of the grad program, you got early access yesterday to the Faith in the Patriot video series. That began yesterday, and there's 4 videos in the series. The first one was released yesterday. If you're not part of the grad program, you got it later than the grad program got it, but you still should have had it in your inbox. If you're signed up for the Student of the Gun newsletter, and if you're not, go to studentofthegun.com, click on the little button that pops up. You have to watch the video. It's a minute long. Just watch the video. Click on the button that pops up. Enter your information, and then it will send you the link to the new video series for the Faith in the Patriot. It's thundering like
Yeah, do you know what
distracting me?
Do you know what just popped up on my monitor? All right, and I'm going to go ahead and say it now because it's pertinent. From guns.com, open carriers arrested for pumping shotgun in Walmart.
Yeah, that's the same dudes.
Mississippi. Yeah, I know. It said initially no charges were no arrests were made. However, warrants were issued 5 days later after, and that's very smart. What they did is they took all the information and came up with, basically they took it and they got warrants. Because people are like, well, how come they didn't just arrest them right then? It's like, well, because at the time, blah, blah, blah. But here's the deal. And they're like, oh, all you open carriers, and I know I didn't want to talk about this anymore, but here's the deal. These guys are jackholes, as our friend Marty would like to say. Jackwagons, jackholes.
Yeah, jackwagons.
Whatever. This is stupid. Arrested and charged with disturbing the peace were Holton Wade Socher, 19, and William Cordell Kenyon, 18. Socher was also charged with disturbance of public peace. Of public place. It says, arrested and charged with disturbance in a public place were Holton and Kenyon, and Socher was also charged with disturbance of public peace, or menacing or threatening or whatever. And you know what? I say amen. Sorry, that was stupid. It was moronic. It was pointless, and they need to be punished. Loading a 12-gauge shotgun in Walmart. First of all, if you're really serious about using a gun for self-protection, which I am, guess what, Jared? I know you're going to be amazed, but the gun that's attached to my body right now, it's already loaded and ready to go.
Wow, so is mine.
I don't have to walk into Walmart and load it or chamber around. That's crap. And let me tell you what, brothers and sisters.
These dudes were young.
Yeah, and stupid, and they're going to be punished, and good. I hope they make an example of them. If I'm in Walmart and a dude walks in the door and I see him popping shells into a shotgun and racking it,
yeah, it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be go time. And they're lucky they're still alive. They're lucky that a genuine, intelligent person didn't ventilate the crap out of them.
Well, they were at Gulfport Walmart, so
yeah, that is
genuine
true.
intelligence, yeah. Not so much.
Well, see, they went to Walmart at night, so their chances of getting ventilated by... Well, if I go to Walmart at night, I don't go to Walmart at night, but if I were...
I do,
yeah.
Usually after 10, because there's nobody there.
And you know what I'm going to have to do right now? I'm going to have to drop this into the show notes, because I didn't even plan on it. But what the heck? Okay, that's
we're going to be talking
Mississippi
about,
news?
Yep, there you go. That's what I was going to say. We're talking about Mississippi
news.
Anyway, so.
But we've got good Mississippi news. But before that, what day is today? Well, it's Wednesday, the 1st of July. And because it's Wednesday, you know what I'm going to do over here in the Glass Case of Motion. Oh, by the way, in case you're new, let's say you're a new guy and you just got your Apple iPhone yesterday and you were browsing iTunes and you found this thing called Student of the Gun Radio and you're like, I'll give this a listen. Well, I'm your host, Professor Paul Markle, and thank you for joining me. I am in the Glass Case of Emotion Studios, which is located in sunny Biloxi, Mississippi, at Student of the Gun University. Did you know there was such a thing? Well, now you do. And on the other side of the glass right there is Jared. He is the studio engineer. He's the producer of the show. He produces actually the radio show and the TV show because he doesn't like to sleep. And being Wednesday, we always have a special Wednesday SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk, which is preceded by one of my favorite songs in the whole widest world.
Original cute body make a man bad woman. Physically fit, physically fit, physically fit woman. Physically fit woman. Nice, sweet, fantastic. Big body ocean at the big tight and woman and nice, sweet, energetic. Big body ocean at the big tight and woman nice, sweet, fantastic. Big body ocean at the big.
Your job as a listener of Student of the Gun Radio is to provide encouragement and motivation for your peers. And you guys will know, I'm sure some of you have been through this time in your life. I actually just went through it in the past 4 years, you think?
Yeah, well, everybody does. Everybody goes through it.
Everybody is going to go through a soft time in their life. And Dad brought up this point. It's a really good point that when you have a friend or when you have an acquaintance that is going through that soft time where maybe they're not as motivated as they should be, you should be there for them to provide the motivation and encourage them to get back in the shape that they should be in or pursue the career that they should be pursuing and not just sitting on the couch being a couch potato doing nothing.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Even dudes that are, whether they're, I know lots of guys that were former Marines, soldiers, sailors. Well, sailors generally are kind of soft anyway. Ooh, he went there. Good, write me letters. Air Force guys. I know some of you Air Force guys got your feet up on your desk listening to me right now. Coast Guard, I don't know. Well, they're whatever. They exist. Congratulations. I'm going to get letters from Coast Guard guys, too. Coast is like, let me tell you what. But seriously, everybody goes through that soft period in their time. Even if you were young and strong and motivated and, everybody goes through that. And as a friend, now I don't want you to say, hey, dude, you're a fat piece of crap. No, that's not really motivation, unless you're in the Marine Corps, and then that's called motivation. Bless you over there.
I would say you could say that and then follow it up with motivation.
Follow it up. Yeah, just saying, hey, you're a fat piece of crap doesn't really help people.
You're a fat piece of crap, and here's how I'm going to help you.
And here's how I'm going to help you. Yeah, but if they're not a Marine, it might hurt their feelings. Marines do sometimes sick things like they laugh at people on the rappelling tower that are afraid of heights.
That's not sick. That's normal.
It's stuff like that. Like, hey, you're fall.
Sometimes hurt feelings or sometimes tough love is the way to motivate people.
But for people that don't have that sick, twisted, weird Marine Corps sense of humor, seriously, on a no kidding, everybody goes through it. Even hardcore people, even athletes, even Marines and soldiers, and they go through that soft period in time where they lose their motivation. And it's up to you as a genuine friend, as somebody who gives a rat's butt, because someday you're going to be in that soft period and you want someone to encourage you as well. So that's what the SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk of the day is all about. It's all about basically reminding you to be a friend. And a friend's not just somebody that asks you to help them move with their truck. A friend is actually someone who provides encouragement and motivation. And we want you to do that. And that's what we're all about here at Student of the Gun, really.
No,
when you come down to it. What's that? No, go ahead.
There's one caveat. Some people do not want to be helped, and you have to know the distinction of who you're going to waste your time on and who is actually going to listen to you. There's been a couple people in my life that I've helped, and then I just stopped because they didn't take the advice or they weren't listening. And you have to, it's really hard sometimes. It's hard if they're a close friend of yours or if they're somebody that you care about. It's hard to make that, the severance. It's hard to sever that, I don't really know how to say that. It's hard to...
Just step away.
Yeah, it's a step away. Like, you still care, but you just stop what you're doing because it's really...
You don't want to be an
time.
enabler.
Yeah.
An enabler, and that's a psychological term, but is somebody that's like, you're an alcoholic, you're a drug addict, you're whatever. Oh, that's cool. I'll just give you $20, but I'm going to give you $20 just one more time if you promise me you'll stop. Don't give them that $20 because they're not going to stop. I'm not going to get psychology with you right now, but when you talk about the soft and advice, I give advice one time if offered, or I mean if requested, not if offered. If requested, I'll give advice once, and if I give you the advice and you're like, yeah, but, and we've both encountered this, Jared and I, Jared with the fitness and myself with the firearm stuff and what have you. People say, well, what kind of blah, 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 or what should I do, blah, blah, blah. And then you tell them, and immediately they tell you why they're not going to follow your advice. Oh, but I already bought a Kimber Crimson Carry 1911. And I know Kimber doesn't sponsor us, so I don't really care. But no, you're like, seriously, people are like, well, what do you think the best concealed carry handgun is? And then you say it, and they're like, yeah, but I already bought a Taurus M85. And you're like, well, then why did you ask me? Because you wanted me to... Why didn't you just tell me at the beginning, well, I already bought this, and this is what I'm going to carry, so... Well, all right, then drive on.
It takes less effort to make excuses than it does to make improvements.
Oh, yeah, it's like, well...
It's really...
Well, I really want to get in better shape. And you say, okay, well, you should try these things. 1, 2, 3. Well, I don't have time, and I'm really busy, and my schedule, and my money, and I don't have the money to... I love people, I don't have the money to get in better shape. It's like, you might not have the money to attend training, but the money to get in better shape, the world is still kind of free.
You can go to a playground.
Put some shoes on
of stuff there.
And walk, or run or whatever. But stop making excuses for yourself. And that is a friend, if you're a genuine, and my friend Dave Biggers is that friend who can say, you know what? I love you like a brother, but I think you're wrong. Or I think you're not correct. And that is a duty of a friend, is to step in and let you know when they think that you're screwing up. Not to hammer you on it, but to say, I'm going to give you this piece of advice. And you can either take that advice or not. So if you think someone's screwing up, at least be a good enough friend to them to say, look, we're friends. And here's the deal. You want to do a friend check? A no-kidding friend check versus acquaintances, because everybody has lots of acquaintances, and I know we're off on a tangent, but everybody has lots of acquaintances. But if someone is your genuine friend and you tell them something that they didn't want to hear, if they're your genuine friend, they'll be like, yeah, I didn't really want to hear that from you, but I appreciate you telling me, or we're still friends. But if they reject you and they're like, oh, I'm not going to be your friend anymore because you said something I didn't want to hear, guess what? They weren't really your friend in the first place. If your friendship ends because all of a sudden something got difficult, then you weren't friends. That's kind of like the definition of friends, is you can be friends even if you don't always agree. But the acquaintance people, like, oh, you have a different opinion than mine, so I am no longer your friend. No, you never were. You were just a dude or a chick on Facebook or whatever, and somebody said something about, like Sunshine Patriots and Summer Soldiers, that the moment things get difficult, they're out of there. So that's it. The SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk of the day, Physically Fit, is about helping your buddies out when they're going through that soft time, give them that encouragement and that motivation. And Jared, tell them how to save some cash when they go to the SWAT Fuel store.
Well, before I do that, I want to let you guys know that if you are that person that's going through one of those soft times in your life, and maybe you don't have a friend that is there to push you through it, that's what we're here for. You can call into our number, leave a voicemail or whatever. If you have any questions about fitness or firearms or anything, just leave a question there. It's 682-207-7684. That line's not only used for the Warrior of the Week, but it's used for you guys to just call in, and if you have any questions or concerns or anything, just leave your feedback or questions, or you can email me personally, PT JARRAD@gmail.com. That's specifically for the fitness stuff. Now, if you guys want to save some money on the SWAT fuel, because SWAT fuel is awesome, and why wouldn't you want to save money? You can go to studentgunradio.com, click on episode 200, which is this one, or any of them really, and you can click on the link for the SWAT fuel store and use the promo code SOTG2015 when you go to purchase, and that will save you 10%.
Yes, sir.
It's better than zero,
That's
but
right.
not as good as a grad program.
That's right. Well, you know. All right. Hey, cool news. Today is July 1st, and we had some stupid Mississippi news that we already shared with you, and we're going to share some good Mississippi news for you. But I thought we needed a special theme song to share this Mississippi update, so I picked one out. I can see the stars and bars a-flying.
You should ban that song.
I can see them flying. Waving in the breeze. The stars and bars are waving in the breeze. All right, this story comes to us from NRAILA.org. You notice I got that right that time, Jared? I didn't say IRA. Yeah, I'm practicing. From the NRA's Institute for Legislative Action, that's ILA, Mississippi, legislation reducing carry permit fees and removing permit requirement for certain methods of lawful carry. That's a long title. Takes effect, definitely an SEO title. Takes effect on July 1st. And you're like, all right, Paul, scoop me on what's going on down there in the Magnolia State. Well, I'd be happy to. And the birthplace of Elvis Presley, by the way, just so you know. All right, Senate Bill 2394, sponsored and passed by State Senator Terry Burton, Republican Newton, and State Representative Andy Gibson, Republican Braxton, during the 2015 session, will take effect Wednesday, July 1st. The measure was backed by Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves and strong backing of Philip Gunn, House Speaker Philip Gunn. How cool is that? And, of course, Phil Bryant, the governor. All right, this is what it entails, essentially. The new bill reduces the fees of the original concealed carry permits from $100 to $80, the renewal fees from $50 to $40, exempts active duty military personnel from application fees, and the renewal fees for senior citizens drops from $25 to $20. Now, that does not include fingerprint fees, which is something different, but still. Clarifies that the state-issued permit is not necessary. Now listen, perk up your ears, hippies. It clarifies that a state-issued permit is not necessary for the transportation of a loaded or unloaded pistol or revolver. You got to throw the revolver thing in there. In a purse, handbag, satchel, or similar bag or briefcase or fully enclosed case. So, we can call this the purse carry law. You can call it the fanny pack law. You can call it whatever you want to do. The fact of the matter is we are so close. We're like, you can't see me, but I'm holding my fingers like a quarter inch apart. Is it a quarter inch? A quarter inch to be in 100% constitutional carry. In Mississippi, if you want to tote a gun, not carry a shotgun into a Walmart and load it while you're there like a moron, but if you want to actually carry a gun for personal defense every day on your body, and if you don't want to go through the permit fees and you don't want to have reciprocity with the neighboring states, it's like, I don't care about the neighboring states, I'm not putting my name on a list, I don't care. Rock on. Here's the deal. In Mississippi, as long as you are not a felon or someone who is wanted by the police, you can carry open with no permit. You can carry closed or concealed in a purse, bag, briefcase, fanny pack. I know it hurts some of you and makes you, believe it or not, if you put a waist bag or a fanny pack or whatever you want to call it, one of the modern things, if you strap that around your body, your testicles do not shrivel up and fall off. I know you're probably wondering about that. What happened to my clock, son? That's gone. Also, It is also establishes that special clarifications for carry permits for honorably retired law enforcement officers and honorably retired corrections officers who provide a letter from their agency, yada, yada, yada. So essentially, if you want to, like, save some money and you get the letter from your agency saying, yes, this dude is a honorably retired person and he's good to go. Okay, so rock on. So the big deal with Mississippi today is that purse carry, bag carry, whatever have you, goes into effect. Now, if you get a Mississippi concealed carry permit, if you go ahead and pay the fees and the money and what have you, you have reciprocity with, I think, it's at least 25 states right now. It might be 27. I can't remember the last total. But if you got a Mississippi permit, essentially you can travel all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. You can travel all the way to the California border, and you can go all the way up to Ohio before you no longer have reciprocity. Mississippi has reciprocity with every state that borders it. So we can go to Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, you name it. It's good to go. So, yeah, positive news from the Magnolia State. We thought you guys would appreciate that. All right, moving on. We're moving on. The next segment of Student of the Gun is brought to you by whom? By Century Arms, the makers of the C39 made in the USA AK. And now is the time to buy them. Folks, I'm only going to tell you one more time. Okay, that's a lie. I am going to tell you more than one time. But if you're like, well, I've been thinking about buying an AK. What is the answer to that, Jared? I've been thinking about buying it?
Stop thinking and do it.
That's
You
right.
want to know why? Because
Tell me
those
why.
AKs are amazing.
Oh, they're extremely well built, made in the USA.
Did you tell him about the time we were at the range and I was shooting what? I don't even know what gun I was shooting first.
The Wasser?
Yeah, okay.
You were shooting an old
I was
Wasser?
shooting an old Wasser, and then I switched to the Century Arms. I think it was the not the micro, but
The C39.
just the C39,
Yeah.
the pistol. No, was it the rifle? I don't remember. But anyway, so all the mag welds are the same. So I was shooting the C39. I got done with that, and I went back to the old Wasser, and I was trying to put my mag in. I was like, "Why is this so hard to get in?"
Why is this so difficult to get this daggum mag in here? Oh, because it's not a machined mag well. Yeah, the machined receivers. Do stamped receiver AKs work? Yeah, they work fine. They work just great. But the machined ones, and that is in my opinion, the biggest benefit of having a machined receiver AK is the fact that they machine the magazine well, and they flare it, and it just consumes magazines. They just pop right up.
One of the golden nuggets that I got from Tactical Response, and I believe it originated from Paul. Did it about the knuckles
Gomez?
to rail?
Yeah.
Not Dad, Paul Gomez.
Yeah.
Is the fact that if you grip the magazine, the AK magazine, like a beer can, you put the knuckles to the rail, and
Yeah,
then
put
you
your
rock
knuckles
it in.
on the rail and then rock back.
Yep, it worked perfectly fine for the old.
Well,
AKs.
now,
But I mean, it works for the C39s too. But you don't need to do that.
But once you do that, if all you ever had was an inexpensive, cheap,
Yep.
like stamped one, and then you go to this, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
you get that amazing factor.
Yeah.
All right, Crossbreed holsters, the holster that I happen to have on my body right now. Are we going to call this the Caitlyn Jenner commemorative?
Super Tuck. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think we cleared that with them. I don't think we cleared that with Trent. But we're going to go with the Super Tuck Deluxe, and that's what I have
I mean,
on my
that
body
would be
right
a
now.
pretty good way for Crossbreed to get some press.
It would. Super Tuck. And,
I'm gonna run that by him. Hey Trent, I have an idea for marketing.
there you go. Compose it right now. But Crossbreed Holsters, check them out at crossbreedholsters.com. And Frog Lube, it just works. It's green. It's minty fresh. You can put it on your toast if you're really feeling froggy. Get it? Actually, Frog Lube, the reason they call it Frog Lube is because Larry is a U.S. Navy SEAL. He's a retired U.S. Navy SEAL. And check those guys out, froglube.com. It's for guns, it's for knives.
So Mookie said he was an instructor for his, wasn't he?
Oh, Larry was one of Mookie's instructors when
Yeah,
he
I
went
think that's
through,
what he said, yeah.
Was it Buds?
I
Was it
don't-
Buds?
I don't
Was it-
know.
I don't know. But they know each other from being frogmen.
It was funny because I introduced Mookie at SHOT Show, I believe it was, and they just started going off
Old
on the
school.
yep. I was
old
like, wow,
school
that was cool.
Frogman talk, yeah. Old school frogman talk. All right, it's time. This is episode 200, and we're going to get a little bit heavy, so stick with me. hunters, sportsmen, gun owners, competition shooters. We like to wrap ourselves as a gun culture. We like to wrap ourselves in those titles. We like to talk about that. I'm a sportsman. I'm a hunter. I'm a competition shooter. And then for some reason, some strange reason, people will say they will claim the title gun owner, and then because that title exists, or because they claim ownership of the title gun owner, that means that they have an opinion when it comes to the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. Well, dude, owning a gun, being a gun owner, means nothing more than you were able to scrape together some cash and take your ID down to the store and buy one. Congratulations. I'm a car owner. I am a car owner, and I'm going to sit down with the state, and I'm going to talk about how we want to reroute the highways, because I am a car owner. No. None of these titles mean
like KAHR?
No, CAR.
Okay.
All right. Hunter, sportsman, gun owner, competition shooter. None of those titles mean a damn thing without liberty. Whoa. Oh, hang on now. No. None of those things mean anything if we lose our liberty. If you, being a sportsman or a competition shooter or a hunter, if that's more important to, or a three-gunner, if that's more important to you than being an American patriot, if the title hunter is more important to you than the title patriot, you're screwing up and you need to fix yourself. Because, brothers and sisters, without liberty, without the entire Bill of Rights, yeah, I know everybody we like to talk about the Second Amendment. We like the Second Amendment this, Second Amendment that, but you know how they can get around the Second Amendment? By removing your rights to private property. Oh, what? No, they did it. They're doing it. It's happening. You have a Second Amendment to own a right to own a firearm, to keep and bear arms, until you move to Washington or Oregon and they tell you that you need a government permission slip to transfer a gun from yourself to someone else or someone else to you. The government has to offer their permission first. You're like, oh, or you, I don't know why you would do it, but you might live in the People's Republic of Illinois or the People's Republic of Massachusetts or the glorious People's Republic of New Jersey, where the state gets to tell you whether or not you can have a special card that allows you to buy a gun. Yeah. If you don't have liberty, all those other titles mean nothing. You have to establish liberty first. If you're new to the show, perk up your ears. Student of the gun, the definition of a firearm is an instrument of liberty used by free people. First and foremost, a firearm is an instrument of liberty. After you have secured your liberty, then you can play all the games you want. Go play competition shooting games, go hunt. I hunt. I'm not going to stop hunting, but you know what? My prime focus in life is securing liberty for my children and my grandchildren yet unborn, and my posterity, as the founders would say. That needs to be your prime goal. If you're so wrapped up on whether or not you can go duck hunting next year and that you don't pay attention to what else is going on, well, what else is going on, Paul? Well, we have a judicial branch that is essentially rewriting the Constitution, legislating from the bench. We have an executive branch of government which is completely ignoring the Constitution. Yeah, I know it's there, but I'm not going to read it and I don't care. And you have a legislative branch that really doesn't understand or seem to care what is in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. You have the three branches that are acting in consort to essentially either nullify, alter, or ignore the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. And it's really not that hard. The supreme law of the land only has 4,000 words. I'm not 40,000, 4,000 words. It was written, the Bill of Rights was written so that every American citizen with the ability to read could understand it. It was deliberately written to be simple so that every American would understand what it meant, so that you don't need constitutional scholars and you don't need attorneys to explain it to you, so that you don't need judges to tell you what they think it means. The Constitution was not put in place so that 9 traitors in black robes could sit in their chambers and legislate from the bench how you will live your life. And there's this little thing called the 10th Amendment. It's all about states' rights and the rights of the people. And apparently, in Washington, D.C., they've either burned, shredded, or just chosen to deliberately ignore that. And how does that affect your life as a hunter, sportsman, gun owner, competition shooter? Brothers and sisters, if you don't understand that, I don't know where to even start with you. Now, before we move on to the next segment, I've got a little bit of fighter wisdom to share for you here, and I thought this was really apropos. We had some MMA fights down here, not UFC, but local MMA fights. We had a couple guys from our gym compete last weekend. And Jared, was it John Dixon who told you this mantra about the judges, or was it someone else? Because I remember this being shared way back when you first started fighting and doing MMA and cage matches and so forth.
It came from the dungeon.
So
I'm sure that John Dixon is the one that said it.
And, go ahead.
He just said not to. Well, did you? You go ahead and say it.
No, it's essentially the advice is, look, never let it go to the judges. If you let the fight go to the judges, and you're like, well, what do you mean, Paul? No. All right, as far as boxing, MMA, any kind of a combat sport like that, if you allow it to go to the judges, you're putting your victory or your loss in the hands of 3 other people, 5 other people, 10 other people, whatever. And you can't, if you lose a decision, you can't fault any. And this is, I'm pretty sure it was John that was doing one of those school circles, the John Wisdom circles, where he said, if you let it go, if you lose a decision, don't be mad at the judges. You need to be mad at yourself because you allowed that to happen. And I remembered that. Fighter wisdom, never let it go to the judges. And what John meant is, look, if you want to win the fight, then you need to win it definitively. There cannot be a question whether or not you won. Essentially, if you have an opponent who is lying unconscious on the mat, well, then you won. If your opponent taps out or goes to sleep because you applied a proper lateral vascular neck restraint to him, or a proper joint lock or whatever, if they surrender, tap out, go unconscious, fall to the ground, can't get up, then there's no question that you are the victor. However, at the end, if they stop it, you're both standing there sweating, it goes to the judges. What you think was a great fight, in the eyes of the judges, may not have been such a great fight. It may not have been so clear to them. There have been times when I was in the corner thinking, okay, I know, right? And it goes to the judges. I'm like, what? You guys have heard that. What fight were they watching?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have, Jared.
Yeah, I actually heard that this weekend a lot. And one thing that made me perk up my ears earlier, I was over here doing some stuff on the Student of the Gun Facebook, and Dad said we had MMA fights, and he said not UFC. If you're going to, just please know the difference. We have people that call here, or that talk to me like, "Are you teach UFC?" I'm like, "No, we do MMA. UFC is an organization.
Yeah, that's like the NFL or the NBA or whatever."
So just if you're one of those guys,
the UFC is a league.
Yeah, if you're one of those dudes or chicks that thinks that they're interchangeable terms, they're not. And if you use them as interchangeable terms, then people that actually do it for real think you're an idiot.
Well, they might pat you on the head and send you on your way. But why did I think of that? Well, that occurred to me because of what's been going on in our court system here during the last week. And some of you reasonable people, I know you're out there. I know some of you reasonable people think that the recent Supreme Court decisions are good. If you think the recent Supreme Court decisions are beneficial to the United States of America as a representative republic, I'm not really sure which Constitution and which Bill of Rights you read, but it's not the United States Constitution with the United States Bill of Rights written by James Madison. The way this country was founded, and it's not a democracy, Barry. Constitutional scholar Barry gets up in front of a camera and says, our democracy. It's not a democracy, you freaking moron. And the morons in the press corps are like, yeah, tell it, Barry. We're not going to correct you because we're a bunch of sycophants. We don't live in a democracy. We live in this thing called a representative republic. And in a representative republic, 9 traitors in black robes are not supposed to dictate your day-to-day life or the day-to-day activities to the states. We fought this little war in 1861, and it was over states' rights. No, it wasn't over slavery, and don't write me letters because I will blow you out of the water in 2 sentences. But we fought it over states' rights. And when 9 people, 9 men in black, can overturn the rights of 50 states, we're not living in a representative republic. And just because you might be a cheerleader for that one specific cause, you better be careful who you jump in bed with. And we've talked about this before. Like you anti-smoking Nazis. And you're like, I hate cigarettes and they should all be illegal. And brothers and sisters, be careful who you're climbing into bed with. Watch it. You think that because you're myopic folks that are like one party or one issue voters. You know, it's the typical one issue voter. This is my issue, and I hate this issue. And anybody who says that they're going to be on my side, I'm going to vote for them. Brothers and sisters, I don't know what to tell you, but when you let it go to the judges, you've failed. You have failed. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and give you some examples as we continue. But before we continue, we're going to thank our friends at Velocity Triggers. If you have a black rifle, they have a trigger for you. If you have an instrument of liberty, and then you want to do other things with that instrument of liberty, well, you can do that. Check them out at velocitytriggers.com. Brownells, if you have any instrument of liberty, they have something to go in, on, around, under, shoot from, bolt down to your instrument of liberty. Even if you don't have an instrument of liberty. As a matter of fact, if you don't, they can help you put one together. They have all the pieces, parts, and what have you. And you can actually even buy, they have AR15builder.com. Let me check real quick and make sure that AR15builder is still up because I haven't checked that lately. AR15builder.com. And I click with my little clicky.
It's AR15builder.com.
Yep,
right?
AR151fiberbuilder.com. Yes, and Brownells owns that. And so what you can actually do is you go there and you build your rifle of parts that are in stock. It is the coolest thing you've ever seen. You pick a lower, you pick an upper, you pick accessories, you go to cart, and you order them. And that's it. And now, obviously, a lower receiver has a serial number on it, so you're going to have it sent to an FFL. But other than that...
Does anybody in our audience do custom glasses frames? Question mark.
You
can answer that question on our Facebook page or shoot us an email.
Question mark.
Because I was thinking I need a new pair of glasses, and I think it would be kind of cool to have custom SOTG glasses frames.
That would be cool.
It would be cool. So if one of you guys do that, contact me.
Brownells.com. Check those guys out right now.
I don't know how that came to my... because I was messing
custom
with my
guns
glasses.
and stuff and glasses and all that. All right, moving on to the next part. Who are the guardians of the U.S. Constitution? Do you believe that the guardians of the Constitution are the police? You might think that, well, the guardians of the Constitution is the Army. It's the Army's job to protect the Constitution because they swear. Yeah, they do. They actually do swear. To protect and uphold protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Ooh, yeah, foreign and domestic. But in Federalist Paper number 16, Alexander Hamilton warned, quote, that judges embarked in a conspiracy with the legislature. Hamilton warned that there may be a time when the judges when sitting judges or the judicial branch conspires with the legislature against the will of the people of the states. Yeah, and that was written when? 1788, I believe. Let me see. Let me make sure. The Federalist Papers, and I should know that off the top of my noggin, but, and you know what, folks? 99 times out of 100, I'm right. Yes, 1788. 99 times out of 100, but I want to check myself. Hamilton refers to the people to be the natural guardians of the Constitution, and calls upon them in times of trouble to throw their weight into the national scale. People think that the Federalist Papers is all about creating this monstrous, overreaching, centralized government. It's not. They understood that we couldn't have, at the time, 13 separate countries that were all forming treaties and alliances. I mean, think about it. From a practical standpoint, let's say you had Georgia formed an alliance with Spain and Alabama formed an alliance with France. And then France and Spain go to war with each other. And so now, because of the alliances, Alabama and Georgia are at war with each other. They understood that they needed to have unity, that the states could be autonomous and make their own laws, but they needed to have some type of a union in order for them to have mutual support of each other. People who get on there like, oh, the Federalist Paper was written by a bunch of big government people. No. Read it. There are tons, innumerable warnings within the Federalist Papers that say, hey, this is the idea. However, if we don't watch our stuff, these things can happen. They predicted the Civil War in the Federalist Papers. The Civil War was predicted. They said, okay, the following conditions, if we don't pay attention, if we don't do our job, could lead to this. And we could have a civil war. It didn't say civil war, but you're like, well, what am I supposed to do, Paul? All right, Mr. Smart Guy, you say that before I'm a hunter, sportsman, competition shooter, that I should first be a patriot and be concerned with liberty. That's easy for you to say. Well, it's not easy for me to say, but here's what I'm going to tell you. Step number 1. Read the Bill of Rights and the U.S. Constitution. Actually, read it. There's a fantastic, awesome Jiminy Cricket's publication that a lot of, I know Galco does. Who else puts these in there? I think DPMS was putting, back when Randy Luth was in charge, I'm pretty sure DPMS was putting these in with all their guns. But it's called The Constitution of the United States. And was published by the National Center for the Constitution. It's a little mini pocket constitution. It's fantastic. Every human being in America who's not a hippie liberal puke face should have one of these, and they should read it. The entire Bill of Rights and the Constitution fit in a small little pocket pamphlet. There is no excuse for you not to have one of these and not to read it. You're like, okay, big deal, Paul, I read it. And I understand a lot of you went to public school in the last 20 years, and even though you read it, you might not understand it. All right? Read the book Dynamic Freedoms. Or, if you can get a hold of a copy, let me tell you what, if you get a hold of a copy of one of these, hold on to it like grim death. A lot of you guys out there and gals have told us, dude, I went on, or you sent us links, you're like, I found it. I found it on usedbooks.com. I found it on Amazon. I found it on eBay. The Political Thought of the American Revolution by Clinton Rossiter. This book should be embossed in gold. It is worth its weight in gold because it explains exactly not just why we did, the fact that we passed a constitution, the fact that we did it, tells you exactly where the founders were coming from. It gives you quotes and examples, and it says, these guys weren't just making this crap up. They're like, hey, what do you guys think? You want to do like a Bill of Rights, Constitution kind of thing? And yeah, we're not doing anything else today. No. It tells you, it explains to you how they came up with this and why it is so important. I was mind blown when I read that. I've read the book 2 times through so far. Number 3, use the Patriot Fire Team format to help prepare yourself, your family, your friends, your community. Go to patriotfireteam.com and put in your first name and your email address. Click it, confirm it. You're going to get the free How to Get Started. And if you do not believe, if you don't understand, if you're not at a point in time right now that if you're looking to the top for things to be fixed, oh, well, if I'm going to vote extra hard in 2019, I'm going to vote super hard in 2019. I'm sorry, 2016. I did the little reverse in my brain thing there. If you're waiting for Washington to figure out how screwed up they are and to trickle down some liberty back to you, good luck with that. It's not going to happen. They're not going to just decide tomorrow, you know what, all this like taxation and you know, mortgaging our great grandchildren into oblivion and basically leaving the borders wide open so that monsters can come in and kill our people and diseases. We're going to stop all that tomorrow. No, it's not going to stop. The country's not going to correct itself. We're not going to get back to our representative Republican roots until you do it, until your community does it, until people at your level refuse and say, no, we're done. No, stop. No, yes, here in my community, we're done. We're not playing your silly game anymore. And how can you do that? There's a tremendous amount of resource material and motivation, inspiration at PatriotFireteam.com. So go there, do that, and yes, I am a smarty Marty, and I told you what to do. 3 simple things that you can do. That's it. All right, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us for episode number 200. We appreciate that. Tomorrow,
one of the Facebook groups that I'm on, Dana McClendon posted a homework post in there, and it's actually pretty good. He says your homework is to read the Declaration of Independence tonight, and again tomorrow, and again Wednesday. This is an old post, obviously. And again every day until you're watching fireworks this weekend. Meditate on what those men did for you. They signed their own death warrants in pursuit of a better life for posterity in this nation.
Absolutely.
They made extraordinary sacrifices in that struggle. Christmas ain't about a fat man throwing presents down a chimney, and 4th isn't about Chinese fireworks.
There you go.
That's pretty cool.
All right, thank you, Dana McClendon. Thank you, Jared Markle. Thank you, all of you out there in the Student of the Gun listening audience. And we look forward to talking to you again tomorrow as we begin century number 2 here at Student of the Gun Radio. All right, remember, you are a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life.